main disappointments in life. This movie is definitely not one of them. I saw this movie on Monday, and I've been anticipating the movie for a very long time. This movie was announced a very long time ago too. Was it like 2013? They're like, oh yeah, we're doing this. For some context, to show how excited I was for this movie, I watched the Comic-Con trailer probably, I don't know, 20 times within 2 days. My brother was very concerned. I had extremely high expectations for this movie, and honestly, it exceeded them. Honestly, my new favorite movie. I'm sorry, Tangled, but let's be real. If you're ever gonna get dethroned from the top spot, it was gonna be a DC movie. I just really like DC. Honestly, I've never had the experience I had watching this movie before. I was so engaged. I didn't want to look away. I don't think I physically could. I was in gold class, which I don't know if everyone knows what gold class is, but it's sort of like this. It's like a fancy cinema experience where you have like reclining chairs and people will serve you food. And it's not like popcorn and ice cream like you normally get like candy bars. Like I got calamari, for example. They kind of served me that like halfway through the movie, and I was already like in love with that movie by this point. So I think it was a very intense moment when it came. So I remember like just having this half-eaten like calamari in my hand, like just in an upright position, me staring at the screen for probably about 5 minutes. It could have been shorter, it could have been longer, I don't know. I'm estimating about 5 minutes, just me going. In fact, I was so engaged I didn't even finish eating on the calamari because like my dessert came out, and I had to eat that because it was chocolate pudding, and you do not ignore chocolate pudding. I was also very engaged, like, physically. I don't know, maybe it was because I had, like, a bigger chair, but I was, like, moving around depending on, like, the intensity of what was happening. I was sitting like this at one point in the movie, like, I was just, like, twisting and turning, and to the point that I somehow, still not sure how, got, like, the chocolate sauce, some of the chocolate sauce from the pudding on my butt. Honestly, Donald Justice is very different, I felt. Anyway, to any other superhero movie I've ever seen. Like Deadpool was, but obviously different in a different way. I'm glad people are sort of, like with Deadpool in this movie, and probably other future superhero movies coming out of it, people making, like, sort of, I think, try to do something different because, I mean, there's so many of them now, you want to stand out. I don't even know how to explain how it was different, it just felt different. I think it's all the thing you need to see and you might understand. Well, you won't. I don't know. Everyone's different. Also, this movie was a lot more emotional than I thought it was gonna be. If you cry in movies, you might want to bring some tissues. There's a few moments where you might get a little teary-eyed. That's all I'm gonna say about that. I just want to point out how this movie, like the opening sequence of this movie is like incredible. Like watching like the opening, I knew immediately I was gonna love the rest of this movie. Like that was the point in the movie. I was like, I'm gonna love this. Also, the acting in this movie, I personally believe was like awesome. Like, remember when people were worried about Ben Affleck being Batman? Like, you remember that? That was fun times. Fun times. He was great. Everyone was great. I personally was like fine with Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor. That being said, I can see some people who don't like it. Like, I think it's gonna be like people got very different opinions on it. It's definitely different to like the usual Lex Luthor we get, but I kind of see it more as like an exaggerated version of him, if that makes sense. So I just want to mention also Amy Adams. Her Lois was like one of my favorite parts of Man of Steel, and she continues to be great. So I would just put Lois Lane in like every possible movie you can, please. I think. I don't genuinely pay that much attention to film scores, like while watching the movie. If I listen to it, like I usually listen to all the Disney ones like later on. But it's very hard to ignore the film score in this movie because it is so great. Amazing is probably a better word. It was like my Hans Zimmer and Junkie XL. I know Junkie XL also did Deadpool. It was just felt perfect, fit perfectly with the particular scenes it was doing and stuff. Especially there's one moment that where it's like, I think it could be spoilery. I don't know. I love this movie so much that I wanted to watch it immediately after I finished it. Like, it just sort of started, next session is like the next room over, and I wanted to run in there and watch it again straight away. That's how much I love this movie. I am super excited for like the rest of the DC cinematic stuff that's coming. Like, bring on next year Wonder Woman and Justice League. I mean, and Suicide Squad this year, I'm excited for that, but I mean, mainly let's be real, I'm excited for Justice League because I've been wanting the Justice League movie for a long time. Bring it! So that was my very personal opinions on Dawn of Justice. Let me know what you thought of it. Even if you hated it, like, I'm not gonna get angry at you because I acknowledge People are going to have different opinions to me, and that's like totally okay. Subscribe for more superhero-y, nerdy, arty content every Sunday. And until then, goodbye!